going on, guys? So I decided to tear it apart tonight. Hopefully it doesn't take me that long. I might not show everything because, it's just boring me removing screws and stuff. But every time I remove the plate or whatever, or if I find something weird or something off from the first generation TR50, I'll let you guys know, or I'll just, start recording again. So I'm pretty much just using my little, electronic kit. It has a bunch of O-rings, a bunch of screwdriver bits, and I'm pretty sure it's like Phillips, either 000 or 00. I'm gonna, keep trying swapping them out and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna remove all these screws. I think there's like 17 of them or something ridiculous like that, and then pop this off and show you guys what's inside, and then probably pull the valve block out of here. I don't think I'm going to have time to shoot it tonight, but I'm going to try, once I have the valve block removed, I'm going to try shooting it with no restrictor in the handle, and then I'm going to try shooting it with a restrictor in the handle, and yeah, pretty much see how efficient it is with air, and see if it's even possible to use this without a CO2 restrictor in the handle. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to start tearing this down, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so far so good. I did realize that the fiber optic sight on the top, I'm going to have to maneuver that out of there somehow. So I am going to keep, continuing with this. But I have like 3 more screws to undo. And I usually just leave them in the correct spot where the shell is, because some of them are different lengths. And I don't want to put the wrong one in the wrong area. And I'm using a 00 Phillips drill bit or screwdriver bit. I tried the single 0, the Phillips just 0, and it was too big. And then I tried the 000 and it was too small. So I'm using the 00. Sorry, my camera's not focusing. But yeah, it says PH00. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. And when I take out the fiber optics, I'll let you guys know how that went. Alright, I'm going to try to record this as much as I can, prying apart the shell. I have all the screws undone. I still haven't messed with the fiber optic on top, because it actually, it kind of like keeps the two pieces fused together. The front one is not like that. The shell kind of like comes down and swoops down and it goes around this, but it does not do that for the back. So I'm either going to have to get my fingernail in there and like pop the sight up, this little U-shape, fiber optic sight. I'm gonna have to pop it up, or push it forward or something. So I'm gonna try to dismantle this without messing with the sight, and then see what I have to do to get the sight off of there. It shouldn't be that hard. Usually these are easy to pop open once you get the screws out. So I'm just kind of getting my finger in the front, making that space for the shell to come apart, slowly doing this so I don't break anything. There's nothing in here that should fly out. The only thing I'm worried about currently is the fiber optic sight on the rear popping off or like snapping or something weird. So I'm just gonna very easily pop this off. It came apart pretty easily. And yeah, I'm just trying to get this out of here without snapping the sight in the back. There could be an easier way to do this. This is my first time dismantling this one. And then I'm pretty sure you can refill this with any color fiber optic strand you want in case this does snap. I would just have to get some because I don't have any extra strand, fiber optic stuff lying around anywhere. So I'm just slowly lifting this, or at least attempting to. It is coming apart. It's coming, apart from the bottom, and I just don't want to snap the top part. So I'm gonna mess with this for a second. I'll be right back. Alright, so I did try using a flathead screwdriver to really fragilely snap this off, and I ended up breaking it. So I'm probably gonna have to get some fiber optic strand stuff. I don't think it's a big deal. It should be easy to find, because yeah, that stuff's like at Walmart and all that. So this is the inside. I'm gonna put the camera back on the table. I just put the other half of the shell just off to the side with all the screws intact, So yeah, I'm going to start pulling this apart. There should be some more screws on this body. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's pretty much how the first generation one is. From this point, you're going to want to pull the spring off. So you can use a flathead to take the tension off of this spring for the magazine. So that's off. I'm going to remove this spring, put it off to the side, and then yeah, you can actually take this whole thing out of the shell. There is a rubber, or not rubber, but like a hard plastic, like a dowel. It's just a part of the bottom side of the shell. So you have to put that in that hole, and this other plastic kind of dowel, or like part of the frame of the body, the shell, you have to take that off without, you know, snapping it. That's easy to do. So you just kind of pick this up and just kind of wiggle it out of there. I'm going to remove the barrel spring off there, and almost out. It's got a little bit caught up. And yeah, the fiber optic thing I'm not too worried about. So I took off the spring, the barrel spring. I removed the barrel, and I should be able to remove the magazine catch thing. So all that's removed now, and all I'm left is the shell. So I'm gonna take this out, and it's putting up a little bit of a fight, but it should just come out pretty easily. There you go. So yeah, what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure you guys can see it. So see these holes right here? There's a hole right here, and there's a hole right here. So that fits in on this plastic shell right here and right here. So that just kind of keeps it secured in there. So I'm gonna put that to the side. What you really can just do now is, I've seen more recently John Reynolds, he takes this off and then he gets like a screw, and he'll screw it into the inside. Let me get there first before I tell you something to do that you shouldn't do. So I'll be right back. Alright, you guys. So yeah, I got my snap ring pliers. There's other stuff you can use. You can try to use like really skinny long needle nose pliers, but I have these snap ring pliers, and you just want to turn this to loosen it. So I'm turning it to the left or counterclockwise. So it's coming out pretty easily. It's not like Loctited in there. It shouldn't be that hard to remove, and there's no spring tension or anything on this, so this should be easy to remove. Tension's off, or like I can spin this with my finger now. So we're gonna remove that thing. That's a valve blocker. This is the inside right here. I'll probably put some oil on some of this, even though it's brand new. So typically you'd have to pop that out from the front, and I might be able to take this out. I always try to take this out, you know, the hard way first, just to see, or I'm guessing the easy way, just to see if I can get it out of there without taking apart this whole body. But I probably will just take apart the whole thing. So a newer trick that John Reynolds has shown is you get a screw that will thread into here and grab it, and then start the thread a little bit and then pull it out with pliers. Start, you know, put if this was like a really thick screw, kind of get it in there, start a thread, and then you'll have a screw sticking out of this, and you can just pull it out. But I'm gonna do it the old school way. So I'm gonna get my 00 screwdriver again and remove these screws. These ones are not like that tight in there. They shouldn't be, but I'm still gonna be careful. I don't want to strip anything. And there's 7 of them. So this is the top one. As far as the lengths of these, I don't know if they're all the same. I usually just leave everything the way it is inside the shell and the casing and stuff, because I don't want to have to play a guessing game later or figure out why this doesn't want to close and stuff. So in the event that you somehow drop everything or something like that, it's always good to take pictures or have like a little diagram like off to the side over here with a outline of what you're removing, what you're taking apart, put the screws in the corresponding place where you took them from. But everyone does this their own way. So I'm just taking these screws out, and I got 3 more to go, so I'll be right back. All right, you guys, screws have been removed. I'm going to get a flathead screwdriver and get it kind of underneath this trigger area, like right here, so I could slowly pry this open. You want to do this part slow because there's a bunch of little springs and stuff in here, and yeah, like I haven't taken apart a T4E on camera before, but I've taken apart plenty of other HDP 50s and TR50s and stuff, but they're all the Gen 1 ones. I'm gonna assume everything's the same because it's mostly just new puncture cap, new fiber optic sights that I snapped, and the texture on the grip. So I'm gonna slowly just kind of get the screwdriver in here, wiggle it around, make a seam, and then once that seam gets larger and larger, I'll be able to just pop this casing off. So this may take a few minutes. Like I said, I don't usually do this on camera, but here's a video for you guys. So I'm just kind of maneuvering around the outside edge, slowly prying it open. I'm not going to flip this over because I don't want the screws to come out from where they're supposed to be. And yeah, you just got to take your time with this part. So I'm slowly getting it to pop open a little bit at a time. And if you guys want, you can do double speed, or maybe I'll just pause this. But it's going to take me probably a few minutes to get this to come open without destroying a bunch of stuff in here. So I'm just going to pause the video and I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, it took me about 7 minutes or so. If you've seen John Reynolds' video, you just have to slowly pry out everything along the bottom. I usually try to not mess with this magazine rotation piece. So you have to kind of get at the seam in the back, like right here, and then just kind of work your way slowly around the whole thing and just keep on like prying up with different size screwdrivers. I was using this and then the flatheads that I have from my little kit. So it takes a little bit. Don't rush it, because what you don't want to do is pop the whole thing off and then everything comes flying out. So I got this to come off. I'm just going to put it to the side the way it is. I'm not flipping it over or anything. It's just chilling over there. And so what we need to do is remove this piece. You're only going to have to do this one time to the marker, and then you don't have to do this anymore. So what I usually do is I hold on, like put pressure on the trigger right here. Don't pull anything, don't do any of that stuff. And push this down and put your hand kind of around the back side of this valve. Push this down with your thumb, and then you're going to push the casing, this big pot metal piece, you're going to push that down and kind of hold this in, like push it this way so that the spring doesn't, come flying out. So it's kind of hard to say how to do it, but yeah, I've done this a few times with the other ones. Hopefully I don't screw up on this one. So just kind of slowly, actually, you know what, I should take a picture of this before I do anything, just in case everything comes flying off. So I'll be right back. All right, took pictures just in case I screw this up. Hope I don't, but anyway, yeah, I'm just going to pull this off. So hand underneath the valve right here, I'm pushing the spring down with my thumb, and then I'm pushing this toward here and pulling this out sort of at the same time, or attempting to. So I'm halfway off, and got it off. So that's always the riskiest part of taking this thing apart. So this is your bolt guide. This stops the bolt from flying forward and from hitting the barrel, because the barrel goes in right here. And then your spring, I'm going to take that off for now. Your bolt, I'm going to take that off for now. I'm going to put grease and oil on all this stuff, even though it already has it. It doesn't hurt to have more. And what we're going to do is you could use a really long screw, or if you have a power kit screw from the power kit, you can push that in the front. And then you're just going to lightly tap down on this, and it should pop that valve block out of here. Because what we're doing is we're removing this stoppage, and this is going to increase the power like a bunch. So I'm getting like 7 joules out of this, and once I pop this out, it'll get like 18 to 20 on a normal CO2 and normal temperature day. So I popped it out. There's this giant blockage that's in there, and that's what's keeping the power down. You can see the O-ring that's in there. If the O-ring is not on either side of this, it'll probably be stuck inside there. So you want to remove that O-ring. Luckily on this one it just came off. So I'm going to get my grease, put grease and oil on this, put grease and oil on this. There's a little O-ring in here, so in case you get some random like leak or it starts just leaking air constantly, you're going to have to change this O-ring out. I believe it's 9 millimeters outside diameter and 6 millimeter inside diameter. I could be wrong, but I think it's that size. And yeah, I'm just going to get some grease really quick. I'll be right back. Alright guys, this is brand new, so this is not necessary. But it's not super caked on, but I like to just keep everything greased up anyways. This is silicone grease. It's from my local paintball store. And then I'm going to be using Tippmann liquid fire. It's basically just silicone oil, but for paintball markers. This is pretty much like a paintball marker. But now that I have the valve block pulled out, it'll just bust paint really, really fast. Because it's the bolts flying forward and putting so much pressure on those balls now. But since I'm not using this for paintball, I'm going to be shooting, you know, aluminum balls and nylon ammo and stuff out of this. That should not be an issue at all. That's the whole point of taking this valve block out of here. So I'm just putting a little bit of oil on here, put a little bit of oil on the valve O-ring. This is also why you should put oil on the CO2 cartridges or just straight into the valve, because eventually it'll touch this part and you want to keep that O-ring in there oiled up nice. So this is pretty much done. You don't really need grease on this part, but I'll just put a little thin layer on here and put some on the bolt. And we're pretty much done, guys. You just have to put your cap that we took off with the snap ring pliers, put that back on there, and save this for later or just throw it in the trash if you don't think you're ever going to put the valve blocker in there. I personally save all my stuff just in the random chance that I end up wanting it to be low powered again, but not going to be the case. I'm still going to keep that piece, but I typically haven't changed anything back to stock. So to put this back in, now that it's all oiled up and stuff, you have to put pressure and have this hole connect right here on the housing. And then there's a little dowel right here, like a metal part of the clamshell, or this, you know, interior clamshell. You're going to put that and align it onto here. So these are going to keep this all pressurized and in. This is a little bit tricky, but you're just doing the opposite of what you did earlier. So remember, don't pull the trigger, don't do nothing like that. Just put this bolt guide in first, kind of put pressure on here, line up those holes. Sometimes you have to do it, you have to put pressure on this stuff first sometimes. So I'm going to put this in my hand. I'm going to sort of angle it so it's not flat, and then I'm going to pressurize this. And your main goal is to do all that stuff and see this little notch right here on the this I guess it's like it engages the bolt, this little triangle piece sticking out right here. You have to get that to fit like right here. That's what catches the bolt and pulls it forward. So it's not too difficult, but if you're not comfortable doing this, don't don't be screwing around with the inside of your TR50, or just have someone else help you, or watch these videos over and over and over. So yeah, I'm gonna push this in. I'm gonna put the line up the holes on the top and bottom and side of the valve, and then try to get that little notch from this piece right here, that triangle part sticking out. I'm going to try to get it lined up with that, I don't know what that's called. It's just the end of the bolt. So yeah, here goes nothing. It's kind of hard to do this with greasy hands, but you just got to do. I think sometimes I've seen John Reynolds put this in first and then drop everything else in. So let's see if I could get that to work. So what I'm doing is I'm putting that bolt catch where it's supposed to go, and then just kind of moving it over a little bit. And yeah, I'll see if I could get this to go. So yeah, see how it's moving a little bit? The black piece that's actually inside the housing. So now I'm pushing this back, and it's in now. So yeah, I don't want to pull the trigger now, but when this is pressurized and has air and stuff, when you pull this, it's going to make, it's kind of hard to see, it's going to make this little spot right here on the top, this little pointy part, it's going to grab this channel and pull the bolt forward so that the marker can fire. That's the whole thing. So that's the hardest part to do. Aside from, you know, trying not to break your fiber optic sights on the outside. So I like to just put little drops of oil on some of these springs. Probably doesn't need it, but my brothers are going to have this. I'd rather it work perfectly whenever they actually need to use it, because they don't shoot stuff all the time like how I do. So I'm just going to put this this part back on. The hardest part, I think, and all the pressure from why it's not letting you remove this easily is because this little like recessed area is catching this bolt, or this pin right here, and that pin is keeping everything basically like lined up and not allowing this to pop off or snap in half. So once it's pretty much lined up, like all the edges look fine, you can kind of slowly snap it back in, and it's pretty much back together. Just check the edges to see if there's any weird seams or anything, or like if it's all wonky, something's not lined up correctly. But I've done this a few times, so this is not hard for me to do. Yeah, so I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna reassemble everything, and then I don't think I'm gonna be able to shoot it tonight, but I know it's ready to go, and then I'll worry about this fiber optic thing that I snapped in the future. So this is all good. I had to put the screws back in and stuff, but I'm just putting this back so I don't forget, because that's a really important part. And I'm just gonna tighten this down slowly. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments, or you can email me. My email is in my channel description. I've only gotten like a couple emails from some people that had questions about some things, and you don't want to tighten this too much. Just like put it till it's snug, and then just tighten it like a little bit more. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be like, it kind of stopped like evenly matched, like a straight line across, and I just did like an 1/8 of a turn, or like a 1/16 of a turn further. So I'm gonna wipe off my hands so they're not all greasy, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I put it back together, and I forgot to put my barrel catcher, or like barrel stopper in here, and yeah, it goes right there. So I forgot to put this in, and then I pushed the top case back in, and then I had to take apart the seam and all that stuff all over again. So now it's good, and it just snaps back in place, and I'm gonna tighten everything up, so I'll be right back. When you're reinstalling these screws on the internals, this internal shell, you don't have to tighten them that bad. And then before you tighten them down, turn them the opposite way and then tighten them so that you're not cross-threading, because you can easily buy the shells for the Generation 1. You can buy the plastic shell, you know, this outside casing. You could buy that pretty easily. I don't know if they have it available yet for the Generation 2 model, but I don't know if I've seen, I think I have, but I'm not 100% sure if I've seen casing for the inside, because yeah, you can buy parts for these. RockstarTactical.com has parts for the Gen 1 at least, and this looks very similar to the Gen 1. I don't know if there's like a random little difference in like a spring length or something, because I don't look at stuff that detailed. But from the last time I took apart my Gen 1 TR50, it looks very similar. Rockstar Tactical has parts. John Reynolds at Alternate Arms Self-Defense sells parts in case you break something or lose something or can't find a screw or something like that. If it's a screw, you can kind of just like go to the hardware store and buy one. If that's not an option for you, I don't know the thread count and pitch. Like, I don't know. There's probably metric, but I don't know like the diameter and stuff. You know, metric size 2, and if it's like a fine thread or coarse thread. So yeah, that's something I don't know off the top of my head, but there are parts available. And obviously, if you do this with a brand new T4E TR50, you're voiding your warranty. So that's also something to think about before you do this. But if you're used to having your Gen 1 and you modify your Gen 1, this is pretty much, from what I've experienced, this is pretty much the same. I tightened all these down. They're not super tight, but they are tight. And then I'm just making sure that my trigger is working correctly. So this part will move. That little nub will come out. And then this part comes out. So I'm going to put a couple drops of oil on all those little pieces just to make sure it's all lubed up and stuff. So I'll put a little bit right here, work it in, put some right there, work it in, drop some as best as I can right there, work that in, put some right there. So yeah, this is pretty much oiled all up, ready to go. I'm going to put the plastic shell on the outside. I'll show you how to get that started. So this is that piece we removed. This is blocking a bunch of basically air or power from being stowed in this valve. I'm going to clear off some of this stuff really quick. So you can put your magazine releaser and catch in here. You can put your barrel and stuff in a second. So that is in there. You have your barrel. This short side goes inside the marker, and this longer like flat piece goes in the front. So you just kind of drop that in there. You have your barrel spring. I'm going to put a little bit of oil and grease. Probably just grease. I'll put some grease on this thing. And yeah, I just like to keep everything oiled up or greased up, keep it from rusting, keep it from like scratching the internals of other pieces constantly. And I'm just going to lift this up a little bit to put the spring on here. And yeah, so I'm going to put this right here, push that in, and the spring should be behind that plastic part right here and right here. If it's in front, it'll end up pinching and you'll get like weird stuff happening and you have to take apart the whole thing again. So this is pretty much good to go. There's the magazine release spring, and you could just put that right here on the inside. There's like a hollow space right there. It might be hard to see. See that hollow spot in the middle of this? So you can drop that in there and then just push it in. It's pretty easy to do. This isn't under too much tension. And since this is all secured, these screws in this metal plate, nothing's going to come flying out or anything like that. So I just got my other shell. All the screws are still in there because I don't take them off, and then just line it back up. Yeah, I just got to put all the screws back in, tighten them down, and then later on I'll look at my broken fiber optic sight. I think I could just heat gun that and bend it or something, but yeah, I'll see how bad it is or what I can do to it. But it's just fiber optic strand. It's pretty cheap. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm just going to tighten this all down, and then a couple days or whatever, I'll do my other one. Hopefully not snap the fiber optic sight, but if it does happen, you know, shit happens. And yeah, I'll take this out, in a few days or maybe tomorrow or something and show you if this works without a restrictor or if it just shoots all the air out in the first shot. And yeah, thanks for checking it out, and see you next time.